Hi guys, so James Cleverly, the Home Secretary, appeared on Kay Burley's show on Sky News the day after a new poll came out which spells doom for the Tory party. Kay listed off some of the high-profile MPs and cabinet ministers who will lose their seats if the vote were held today. Cleverly engaged in a bit of gaslighting. He also claimed that the message he receives from voters is that they don't want the Labour Party. Instead of trying to be honest in this interview and acknowledging that things are going badly, he resorted to the idea that the Sky News poll doesn't represent reality.
Jeremy Hunt, Grant Shapps, Penny Mordaunt, Mark Harper, Alex Chalk, Mel Stride, Johnny Mercer, Esther McVeigh, Simon Hart, Victoria Prentice, David Davis, Gillian Keegan, Jacob Rees-Mogg would all lose their seats if this poll comes to pass. You're going to get battered according to this.
Well, the whole point of election campaigns is that you make your case to the British people. And as I say, when I've spoken to people, they want to hear what our plan is for the future. They want to hear about what we'll do to continue putting downward pressure on immigration, on inflation levels, getting interest rates back down to normal levels, to get more police on the streets, as we have done. And when they compare that with Labour, when I say, are you thinking about voting Labour? You know, people scrunch up their faces and they go, no, they're not convinced by Keir Starmer. I think all this flip-flopping that we've seen, well, all this is not the conversation that I'm hearing. So
yeah, but your seat is a 24,000 seat majority.
I don't only campaign in my seat. I've been across a number of other constituencies. Of course, I campaign to be re-elected myself, but I think for someone in my position as a member of the cabinet, I think it's also incumbent that we support colleagues. It's like you're going to be the only one left. And I have been doing that, and whether it's in Wales where I was campaigning, across a number of other places, including the home counties.
Can't imagine you're going to win many seats in Wales.
People are not well. When I was in Barry, knocking on a door in Barry, the kind of place where you'd expect Labour to have a huge amount of support.
Would plummet to 140 seats. Let me just tell you this, because you mentioned Wales.
The person I was speaking to, when I said, are you thinking of voting Labour, she scrunched up her face and she said, no, I don't like Keir Starmer and I don't know what they stand for.
Going to be wiped.
Okay, I don't believe that for a second. He's lying. Now, he's lying in two ways. He's lying because he said that, when he knocks on doors and people respond, they say, what are you going to do for the future? No, people will be asking you, what have you done for us over the last 14 years? That's the type of question I imagine a Tory MP, a Tory candidate is being asked. Not, what are you going to do for us in the future? What have you actually done for us now? Because the question towards the Labour Party will be, what are you going to do in the future? Because they haven't been in power for the last 14 years. Now, wouldn't it be wonderful for Rishi Sunak, James Cleverly and others to actually have a clip of what he's describing? Interviewing a member of the public, them scrunching up their face and saying, I'm not going to vote for Keir Starmer because he doesn't have a plan. Isn't it convenient that they don't actually have that? Imagine if you had a clip of a member of the public saying this, you could run with that, but you don't even have that. Now, you could try and pay somebody to do that. You could have a Tory councillor pretend to be a member of the public, but it would eventually come out that he was a Tory councillor and not, or a Conservative Party supporter or something like that. But they can't even find a member of the public who say, I'm not voting for Keir Starmer because he doesn't have a plan. It's pretty pathetic, isn't it? But instead of actually acknowledging the problem and saying, look, we're doing badly in the polls because of the last 14 years, we haven't been able to succeed, but actually there's nothing they can say. Yeah, I'm trying to help them, but there's nothing I can do to help them because it's an absolute quagmire. It's an absolute disaster. They have been responsible for this over the last 14 years. I've mentioned before, maybe throwing money at the problem. Rishi Sunak introducing a UBI or something might help the Conservative Party, but they don't care enough about the public. Introducing policies that would actually help people would actually help you to remain in power. But they don't care about people. They only care about their donors. They only care about themselves. So they'll introduce policies to help their donors and themselves, not the general public, not ordinary voters. So that's why they're going to be punished. As I said before, on the doorstep, people are probably going to ask you, what have you done for us? You have been in power for 14 years. What have you achieved that has helped me? Because I'm looking at the last 14 years. Things were better in 2010, before you took over. The NHS was in a better state. We didn't have to wait months and even years for treatment. People were not being told, get a taxi instead of calling an ambulance because it's quicker. That was not the case in 2010. So you're running on your record, whether you like it or not. For the Labour Party, it's what they will promise to do in the future, not what you're going to promise to do in the future. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.